Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode with me, April Federico. So this is a very special episode because this is really answering kind of my calling. Um, so I've been through many lives since I was diagnosed with diabetes back in 2022. And back then, I was getting my master's degree in publishing. And long story short, my graduate program director told me to quit and he called me unreliable, so on and so forth, but we're not going to get into that. However, I did manage to go down other avenues like nutrition, business, entrepreneurship, and I do have my own business called In the Pink Lifestyle, I should say. And it's basically my lifestyle brand, but the only thing about it is that I can't necessarily make a living off of it. And one thing that has actually been quite popular recently, according to the I forget what her exact position is, but she's someone in Teach for America, and her name is Monica Clem, I think. And a lot of people are making the transition into teaching. And one of the things that has been in the back of my mind for so long has been, you guessed it, teaching. And I just never thought I could teach. I just never thought I had the bandwidth to do that or the emotional bandwidth to do that. But yeah, this is something that I've come to really love. And as Taylor Swift says in Daylight, The End of Daylight, her song, she says, you are what you love at the end of the day. And recently, Duolingo CEO Louis, or Luis von Ahn made headlines by claiming that AI could eventually replace many teachers, going as far as to suggest that most teaching is basically childcare. The implication is that AI can not only deliver lessons, but potentially substitute educators altogether. And as someone who cares deeply about the future of education, I want to be clear. This mindset is not just short sighted, it's dangerous. And in a world rushing to embrace artificial intelligence, we need to slow down and seriously consider what education really is, who teachers really are, and why AI, even at its smartest, cannot replace the human depth required to teach young minds. And teaching is not just content. It's not just content delivery. Let's just get one thing straight. Teaching is not the same thing as instruction. So, sure, an AI I almost said chat box, can walk you through conjugating Spanish verbs or explaining the laws of thermodynamics, but that's only a fraction of what teachers do. Teachers assess body language. They notice subtle shifts in behavior, adapt their language on the fly, and respond to emotional cues and connect lessons to students' life experiences. They know when a student is zoning out because of boredom. They know when a student is having a full on breakdown during class. And when it's because of something deeper like anxiety, hunger, or trauma. These aren't like quote unquote nice to have skills. They're foundational to student success. And let me just get one thing clear. Childcare isn't a dirty word, but teaching is so much more than that. Let's also address the elephant in the room. So, Von On's claim that much of teaching is just childcare. Let's unpack that. So, the implication is that the job of a teacher, especially at the elementary and secondary levels, is to supervise kids while parents work. This is a gross and beyond gross mischaracterization. While schools do provide structure and safety, their primary role is to facilitate growth, whether it be intellectual, social, and emotional. And let's not forget, childcare itself is an essential, skillful profession. The labor of caregiving, whether for toddlers or teens, is not something to be dismissed. It requires presence, patience, and precision. To reduce teaching to childcare is to ignore the complexity of lesson planning, classroom management, differentiation, mentorship, trauma informed practices, cultural competency, and so much more. And here is why AI cannot replace the human element. So, AI can indubitably automate tasks, it can mimic conversation, it could even write semi convincing essays. Emphasis on semi. But what it cannot do is care. And care matters. Students don't just remember what you taught them, they remember how you made them feel. The teacher who saw them, believed in them, stayed after school to help them catch up. The one who made learning exciting, who created a space where they could be themselves. And AI cannot do that. It can't form relationships. It can't model ethical behavior, navigate nuanced classroom dynamics, or serve as a role model. And it certainly cannot advocate for a student facing things like trigger warning, abuse, poverty, or racism. Teachers do all of that and so much more. I mean, could AI be a powerful assistant? Absolutely. This isn't to say that AI doesn't belong in education. It's quite the opposite. It has the potential to enhance learning, reduce teacher burnout, and expand access to high quality resources. AI can help teachers grade assignments, generate not automated, customized quizzes. Notice how I corrected myself there. Customized quizzes, and even offer translation for multilingual classrooms. But this only works if teachers remain at the center, using AI as a tool and not a replacement. And undermining teachers hurts students. Here's what happens when we devalue educators. We lose the pipeline of passionate future teachers. We create classrooms run by corporations and not communities. We reduce students to data points, not people. And most importantly, we widen the equity gap. The first schools to lose human teachers won't be the elite private institutions. It'll be the underfunded public schools, rural classrooms, low income districts, the very places that most need human connection to bridge the systemic barriers. And let me get one thing clear. The future of education is human centered, not AI run. The question shouldn't be, can AI replace teachers? It should be, how can we use AI to better support human teachers? Because no matter how fast technology evolves, the essence of education and communication will remain the same, a human helping another human grow. And that is something that no machine can replicate. So, we have reached the end of this little episode here. It's been a quick word, but if you're a teacher, student in university, or even just a student in high school or middle school, or an education advocate, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you see AI as a threat, a tool, or something else entirely? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. And that has been a episode of Brownies for Breakfast. And next time you hear from me, I will be a year older. I'll be 29. And yeah, I'm excited for this new chapter.